TexansUnited.com, Danny Armstrong. We're still visiting with Bill Clemons, and if you missed any of the other segments, you want to check them all out. Keep checking back. We'll add more and more as we come along. Bill Clemons. Bill, we've talked about the dealership. We've talked about the town as a whole, and we've talked about all kinds of things. You have grown up here in a time when you could sit on the front porch steps and watch everything, just kind of life pass you by, and you've been downtown when it was busy. But you were telling us about sitting right here on Elm Street watching a house burn one time. Tell us a little bit of the story that you remember. You said you were young, about the arsonist.
Well, there was an arsonist in Comanche who was later caught, and I cannot at the moment recall his surname. I'd probably come to me when I was asleep in the morning about 3 or 4
You can call all of us in and tell us.
But on a Saturday night, once or twice a month, once this circumstance began, it would be a house burn. And the fire department would get out and come to fight it, but it was always at night, it was always in the dark, and it got to be so regular that people who lived in 2-story houses took ladders and nailed it outside of their house to the 2nd story. We had one to ours, and they had nailed ladders up there, so if you were on the 2nd floor, you could open a window and get out and get on the ladder. Now, for me to try to recall with accuracy how many of these you were, I cannot. But seems to me like over a period of 3 or 4 or 5 months, there were probably at least a dozen residences burn. And I'm not too sure, but I'm kind of thinking the fellow they finally charged with those last surname was named Vaughn.
But you sat right here and watched one.
Right where we are right this moment.
Well, tell us a little about that story.
I couldn't have been more than 5, 6, 7 years old, and Benner Carpenter, her husband, had the Comanche chief, I think, at that time, and Miss Carpenter was a school teacher here in Comanche, and I just lived across the street and 2 houses up, and the house directly across the street from where we're sitting right now, and 3 houses south of the one that I occupied was a 2-story house belonging to a Mr. Slider, S-L-I-D-E-R, and it was torched that evening by an arsonist, and I came over here, and Benner set me up on the railing that went around her porch and held me by the way so it wouldn't fall off, and I sat here and watched that house burn, and it was past midnight. I remember that, or it burned past midnight. I'll put it that way. I don't remember what time it started. And I sat here and watched it go to the ground. But most of the houses that got burned like that, and those day and times, we had pumpers, but we didn't have volume pumpers or as many trucks as we have now. And once they get that kind of a start, most of them burn to the ground. You just use the fire department to keep the house next door from catching on fire.
Usually it's just a safety issue. Well, there was someone in the house, I believe, that you spoke of.
They lived there. I'm not sure whether they were home then or whether they nobody burnt, nobody got injured in it.
Right, right. Well, I was thinking about the wig story, that she wasn't going to come out without her wig.
That was somebody else.
Oh, okay. The fire got on that one instead. They couldn't get her out until she got her wig, so she couldn't come out in public. Okay. Well, I tell you, this is interesting information that we gather here from Bill Clemons, and of course, Danny Armstrong and Texans United bringing this one to you today. It's just our pleasure to have you with us, Bill, and certainly we're going to look forward to many, many, many more segments with Bill as he takes us around the town and in the town, and hopefully you become involved with Comanche the same as Bill has.